Hey guys, it's me again, Orchlayer. What ifs? Where I last left off, let's see. Checking. Well, Deku and Bakugo just finished fighting Biscuit Olivia, and won by slapping the cuffs on him. So, as they were taken back to, get all healed up, because they had broken a few bones. Olivia had even broken a bone or two as he, visited Recovery Girl. As with that set aside, Donyan, they go on and they eventually go to the whole Island event. Now, after I had the Island event, finishing it off with Deku and Bakugo stopping whatever the guy's name was. It was Wolf something. I think the guy's name was Wolf or something like that. But they pretty much stopped him. As Bakugo pretty much used her greatest explosion, with Deku punching with a lot of force, as he calls it his Nephilim's Fury. And Bakugo's was Atomic's Fury, and Deku's was a variation of Nephilim's. And, they go on, they just won. And so, I'll cut to where Deku, Bakugo, and all of them are going to do the sports thing. Not sports, the, pool. Well, in this case, this is how it goes down. Deku and Bakugo are, chilling at his house one day, and they're just as it's a really hot day, Deku's just as he's, actually doing a deep squat, you could say. Since it's really hot and he sweats a lot more, so he's doing just meditating like that, as he's just breathing in and out. Eventually Bakugo's Deku, could we go somewhere please? He's where would you like to go? He's why don't we go to UA? I heard they had a pool. He's you got a swimsuit? She's yes. Now can we go? He's sure. As they stand up to go leave, Kaminari and not Mineta, but Kaminari and Sero, this time I'll say, sort of show up, as it's just Deku and Bakugo, what are you two doing here? He's this is my house. Oh, I mean, what's Bakugo doing here? She comes over and hangs out. It's alright, we want to invite you over to the come with us. We reserved the pool for today, and we invited all the girls and such. As Deku's alright then. As Deku comes following along, as then Bakugo invites all the guys, as they all have their swimming contest. But Deku takes it easy. He just simply sort of floats, taking it easy and such, so that way he everyone needs a break. As they can rapidly go through this, as Ida gives them both a drink as gratitude for helping them stay on the right path to becoming a hero. As everyone else tries to do that whole competition, Deku and Bakugo not so much, as Todoroki wins it. As when it comes to that, Deku's yeah, the guys, everyone seems to be enjoying their time. Tired Deku's anytime I feel at peace and safe, I don't know, I feel calm. As he just sort of rests his head back, he's it's nice, isn't it? She's yep, it is. As in eyes always time's up. They're oh, we gotta go to the mall anyway and check out things. As they deal with the mall. As for Deku, he's sitting there. He's I don't have anything else to buy. Bakugo, you can go on ahead. It's alright, Deku. Oh, why the hell am I yawning? But as Shigaraki, well, not actually, Shigaraki doesn't come at all this time. What happens is, as Deku's sitting there, he's scrolling up. Eventually, as Deku feels someone puts their arm around Deku, Well, not actually, he doesn't put his arm around. He steps in front of him. As Deku's looking down, he's like, those shoes. As then he looks up, it's like Yujiro doing a smile. He's like, enjoy playing hero. He's like, yeah, I find it relaxing, Dad. What do you need? It's like, just coming check up on my favorite son. He's like, yeah, right. I know Baki. I think Baki's gonna end up being your favorite by the end of this. It's like, yeah, maybe. And then again, maybe not. So, anything interesting happened lately? He's like, well, stopped the guy from dying at the hands of the hero killer, fought Olivia, and, also, saved the Island event. That happened. He's like, now, that is interesting. Then again, probably wouldn't have taken much to defeat whatever you did. He's like, not really. Bakugo and I both, like, she blew him up, I punched the shit out of him. Typical day. He's like, yeah, well. He says this to Deku, he's like, I'll tell you this, soon, we're gonna have our fight. Regardless if you're ready or not. But I'll let you know, when it happens, I won't hold back. As Deku, like, stands up straight, he's like, and I hope you won't at all. Because if I'm gonna come at you, I'm gonna come at you with everything I got. It's like, as Yujiro flashes his smile, I'd hope you say that. As he, like, extends his hand, as Deku goes and shakes it, as they're, like, emitting their, like, their, quirks, as Deku is, like, so it doesn't, like, start to show, like, the aura that, like, explodes around them. They have a small bit of it, and then Deku's, like, piling on his quirk on. Well, he doesn't pile his quirk on, but he has his quirk sort of matching Yujiro's at the moment. As when Deku's sort of, like, giving that smile, as Yujiro also has his smile, Bakugo and Uraraka come back, as Uraraka and Bakugo are like, what the... As they're like, Deku, who's this? As then Bakugo looks at him for a second, then looks back, then forward, then back and forth. As Uraraka sort of puts two and together, as they're like, wait, is this your... As then Deku, as then Yujiro says, well, it's time for me to go. As he looks at Bakugo, he's like, I like you. As he sort of smiles, as he walks away, as Deku's like, as he sort of, like, takes a shaky breath, he's like, thank God, that could have gone so much worse. As he's like, as Bakugo's like, was that who I think it was? Probably. He's like, you really do look like him in that case. What did he want? He gave me a warning. He's like, what was the warning? He's like, nothing you should really worry about, Bakugo. And she's like, I wish I got a picture I could have showed everyone in class. He's like, not a good idea. As then Bakugo in that short time could feel the power emanating off Yujiro. And she could guess that at the moment, Deku was, like, just barely as strong, like, in his, like, normal mode. Deku's just barely, just, like, a bit lower than not All Might, but Yujiro. He's, like, 15% less than his father. 135%. Yeah. They go on to go to the whole training camp. As Deku's, like, thinking about it, he's like, he's gonna challenge me soon. As he's focusing this, as this is, like, closely dominant, like, sort of, it's what the main thing he's thinking about, he starts, like, exercising more and more. As he pushes his, like, body as it is now, he lops on more weights, just increasing the conditioning on his body until eventually, like, he's hardened it as hard as he could. As then he also starts, like, trying to take more notes of martial artists, thinking that he may never be able to beat his father when it comes to martial arts. because he thinks that his father has had years to marshal numerous amounts. Oh, stop yawning, you bastard. Ugh. As he just does what he can. As Deku focuses, as he tries to get a hold of movement control, punching, karate chops, all that sort of stuff. As he gets up a decent mile, as the Hanmas are very smart when it comes to, well, most Hanmas, quite a few Hanmas, are very talented fighters in general. So Deku picks up very quickly on martial arts, if he really put himself into it, which he never really has until now. So when they get to the, as they're on the bus, Deku's in the back for the leg room. Bakugo's riding with him, and Uraraka and Bakugo are asking him questions about his dad. As he leaves it alone, as he's somewhat meditating, you could say. As Bakugo and Deku, well, not Bakugo and Deku, Uraraka and Bakugo just keep on bombarding him until eventually they stop, with Deku alright, finally. As he stand up and go to look around, they get the whole wild wild pussycat thing where it's goodbye, as they all fall into that little thing. As before they could, Deku sensed the danger as he just activated his quirk and flashed behind them. As he's wait a second, where's that Midoriya kid? As Deku's I'm here. He's what the? He's yep. Well, that's where we gotta go. He's yeah. He's alright. See ya. As he jumps. As he uses, as he punches behind him, sending him flying forward, sort of. So that way to, get him over there. Bakugo just blows, up, quite literally. As she doesn't want to, stop everyone from growing. So what she did is that she blasted herself up and just pretty much sent herself off like a rocket. Not like a rocket. As Moma helps everyone by leading them through the whole thing. With her confidence boost. As with that, Deku, well, not Deku, yeah, Deku and Bakugo reach there first. As they just sort of sit around and think. As with that, Koda meets Deku and such, as Deku is too high for Koda to try and punch in the nads. And with that being said, eventually everyone does hobble their way to Deku and Bakugo, as they sort of let it be known. As when it comes to dinner time, Deku still tries to give the plate of food to Koda, saying that as Koda's trying to be heroes is stupid, as Deku's maybe for some. For others though, it's a dream that's almost impossible to achieve without dedication. So I guess it depends on which way you look at it, and if you're a villain or not. Me, I became a hero to fight strong opponents, and to try and do some good while I did that. I wouldn't really need the money. I could work normal jobs just fine. But I grew so bored. Well, not grew so bored, but he just felt that instinct to fight. So he sought an occupation where he could do the most of it. As he says to Koda, he's yeah. But then again, some people just think like you do, Koda. You can't understand what we want to do. Nor could you understand what we put ourselves through. At least, most of us, I hope. But you're still a kid. You still have time to think about it. He's you're only 18. You're still technically still a kid. He's technically I'm 18 and an adult. I could have gotten married if I wanted to. He's okay, and you didn't. He's yeah, there's no point to it. As he scratches the back of his head, well, I'll leave you to it. But I may come up here to punch this wall. It seems sturdy. It's oh yeah, you what? You using your quirk, you'd obliterate the wall. It's Who says I gotta have to use my quirk? As Deku, like, clenches his fist, as he smashes it right into the wall, as it, like, sinks, like, up to his, like, middle, into, like, the middle of his forearm. As he's like, now that feels right. It probably takes more than, like, a bit of force, but he, like, sort of did a very wide swing back, putting, like, a lot of his body into the punch. As he's like, now that's good wall. It's like, I'll be back here. As Koda's just like, well, what the hell? As Deku walks away, sort of giving like a little snicker. As then they go on, with Koda like being fascinated by Deku's almost godlike strength. In a way, as Koda doesn't really get to see Deku in action during the whole training camp arc, since, you know, he doesn't need to put any effort in. As he goes on and on and on, following the, like, thing of how Deku does things, he breaks himself, sort of, upon, like, the things. Like, for instance, he pushes his body to limits. Even, like, he doesn't use his quirk a lot of the time when it comes to that. Is that he'll turn it on for, like, heavy things, like lifting up a giant boulder. But otherwise, he doesn't. He tries to lift it with his natural body. And a lot of the time, he succeeds. As he, like, is doing this. As everyone's like, what's up with him? He's like oh, he's not even using his quirk. He's like, what the hell? As Deku and Bakugo, she really doesn't have anything to do either, since, like, she really can't make any more bigger explosions, and if she did, she'd probably have more trouble controlling them than anyone else in the class. So, you know, they just, like, leave the two of them be, really. As at night, Deku would tell Koda. There we go. Kota and Koda. Koda or Kota? I think it's Kota. But, anyways, as Deku does the whole, you know, telling about stories and such, eventually the whole, you know, the night of the villain raid comes around, and as, they go with the whole thing, Deku does his turn first, deciding it's best just get his thing over and done with. As Koda has stuck around this time, as Koda and Deku do, well, their thing. As, like, Koda just said he wanted to be part of it just for, like, it's essentially a haunted tour walkway, so he's like, why not? So, what Deku did, well, not what Deku, but what they did is pretty much Koda rid on Deku's shoulders. And then, as they're walking there, Deku's like, do you smell that? He's like, what? Oh, I don't know. It's just something smells like it. It smells like fire or something. As then a barrage of teeth comes straight for Deku. As Deku's like, whoa, shit! As he like tries to cover Koda, he's like, what the heck was that? As he's trying to watch his language in front of Koda, he's like, oh. As the man in the jumpsuit comes walking towards him, meat. As that's like, what he's saying, fresh meat. I can't remember how exactly he said it. It's just really weird. But as he comes straight towards Deku, launching another barrage of teeth, Deku's like, alright then. Charging up the 35% of 35%, he smashes away. Oh, God. He smashes away the teeth as they're incoming. As he's like, Koda, watch this. As he smashes and smashes and smashes his way through the teeth, he picks up the guy and smashes him again. There's a lot of smashing going on. Smashing. And just puts him straight into the ground, having him halfway in there. As he just like has him there, as he just twists him into the ground. leaving there. He's like, Koda, we're going back to the group. It's like, are you sure, Deku? Yeah, I'm sure. Probably can't be any good that we're just standing out here with our... standing right here. As he picks him up and they just start walking back, Deku's like, oh, wait. As he runs into Tetsu and such, as he's like, Tetsu, Kendo, take Koda and move back to the thing. I'm gonna check up ahead and make sure all your classmates have gone back. He's like, what we should go do? He's like, trust me, you two. Right now, this isn't a time to try and like play hero or something. Ironically. Plus, if you're this guy just got attacked by, tried to kill me and eat me. So, you know, I think it's best you guys go be with the group. As he walks off into the night. As... why am I yawning? Kill me. But as Deku makes his way there, he shows up. As when he gets to the place, there's the gas mask. Like a gas mask. You don't even know. It's all its other secrets. It's a song I listen to, but anyways, sorry about that. What happens is that when it comes to that, he does find like a couple of people. He's like breathing normally. He's like, what are you guys doing? He's like, how are you not knocked out? He said, well, my body is far superior than any normal human on Earth. As his, like I said, his body ventilates stuff very well, so knockout gas even doesn't really have effect on him unless it's like the highest grade material mixed with another highest grade material. As he strolls straight into the fog, the guy shoots at him. As Deku grabs his hand and crushes the pistol. As he smashes his face, not smashes, I'll try to use some different words. He wipes the floor with them as he throws them into a tree as the guy's knocked out. Deku's like, alright, you guys are safe now. As everyone else, since they've stayed huddled up together, there's no real damage, except we go over there where Aizawa's still at the whole little training thing. The Wild Pussycats are having trouble dealing with, you know, Muscular Magni, Dobby, Twice, Toga, and Spinner. I believe, and Mr. Compress. As Deku makes his way back as everyone else arrives, he's like, well. You guys should have told me that there was more fun over here. As Deku says, everyone move back. As everyone gets out of there, as Deku's like, alright. As he thrusts his fist forward, it creates a shockwave as it just swirls around. Everyone's like, damn it. That must be the kid Shigaraki was talking about. As Bakugo's like, Deku, you okay? He's like, yeah. Oh, just really, really bored, you know. He's like, yeah, I can tell. These guys are boring you to death. He's like, hopefully not for long. As he cracks his fist and then his neck, he's like, let's see what we got. As he rushes forward, throwing a punch and then getting punched in the face by Muscular. Deku at this point hasn't activated his quirk. He's just merely using his normal body. He's like, that was pretty good, Muscular. As he like straightens his fist, let's see how you do. As he starts fighting Muscular without his quirk, seeing how well he can do, as he does pretty good in the beginning, but then as Muscular adds on more muscle upon layer of muscle, it gets more difficult to damage him, so Deku starts tapping into his power. As each like little bit of power boost gives him enough strength to start harming Muscular. As when it comes to a point, Muscular throws a punch wildly as Deku spins around his arm, grabs it, and throws him to the ground. As then Toga comes in the back as she stabs the needle into it as it starts sucking up. Deku's like, what? As he spins around trying to hit her, she's like, got enough. As she's like wiggling around the little jar of Deku's blood, he's like, alright, get back here. Moving forward, He stops, as then Dobby blasts him with fire. At that point, Bakugo comes flying in with Atomic Blast, as she levels what was in front of Deku. But it's no longer in front of Deku anymore, but still. With that being said, Deku and Bakugo just demolish them. Until eventually Kurogiri has to bail everyone out. And in that time, thankfully, the guy and Momo still got a thing on. Why am I yawning? Still got a thing on that Nomu as it tried to leave. And as you know, moving forward, keep on saying that a lot. But continuation, Deku like checks up on everyone, and Aizawa just talks about how he encountered a weird guy covered in burns at the little complex thing. As Deku's like, yeah, he got away with all the villain. Well, whoa, actually, scratch that. As he like remembers, I got 2 villains already. He's like, wait, really? He's like, yeah. Too bad that muscular dude couldn't stick around. Would have really enjoyed beating the rest of his face in, but that ain't how life goes, I guess. Indeed it is, Midoriya. Indeed it is. With this little arc over, Deku and the rest of the heroes return back as they get everything filled out. As Momo and the one guy got the thing on the Nomu, they're still able to track him. As when Bakugo and Deku are talking, well, they're discussing some of the things that had happened. All Might actually rolls around after this, so he's like, hey, you two, get over here. As they walk over, it's like, yeah, All Might, what do you need? He's like, this is gonna be pretty dangerous, but we've seen what you guys did at the sports festival. They're not confident in you being able to control your power, so here's what we want to do. Yeah, what we're planning on doing is that we're gonna have you two come along, and you're gonna be pretty much chaperoned, you could say. It's like, right, who am I going with, is what Deku says. He's like, you're going with a team to check out a different area. It's where we think they may be storing their Nomus. That's where the tracker is. It's like, alright, Bakugo will be rolling with us to take care of the rest of the League of Villains. It's like, why are you doing this exactly? He's like, they wish to see you in action. They're thinking about letting you get your not your licenses, but your provisional licenses in early. You see, he's like, oh, that would be really nice. He's like, alright, you guys didn't hear this from me. As All Might goes on, as he typically would. As Deku and Bakugo can't tell this to anyone, so when the time comes around, everyone's like at their house and such, and Deku's like riding, as Deku has arrived with, I believe it was, Gang Orca, Mountain Lady, and Best Genius. And I think, no, Kamui Woods was with the air group, but Gang Orca. So, no wait, Gang Orca wasn't there. It was Best Genius, Best Genius, Mountain Lady, and another guy. I can't remember the other guy. But this time, Deku's there, as it's like, alright. As they check it in, he's like, those are definitely Nomus, but as then he's like, as at this point, Shigaraki and them have been captured, and all for once making his exit out of there, as Deku's like, he looks weird. As Deku can feel the energy coming off all for one, he's like, Best Genius, you need to back up now. Deku powers up to his fullest, as it's like, oh, you're that young man from the sports festival. Your quirk does seem pretty useful, and is very powerful. How about I relieve you of it? As he shoots his fingers forward, trying to grab on, stab into Deku. Deku's like, not likely, as he just backhands it all away. As he's like, your quirk seems to be more powerful than All Might's. But That won't stop me, Izuku Midoriya. As All For One can't tell why, but he feels like this deep sort of fear inside of him when he sees Deku, as he's like, but before that, as he uses his powerful air cannon to blast away everyone, well, except for, well, Best Genius pretty much saved them when it came to that, is that he did the whole throwing everyone away aside from Deku, as Deku was shot with a very powerful air cannon as well. As Deku's like, is that all? As he looks over seeing everyone, he's like, oh, this ain't gonna fly, as all the League of Villains are teleported their way. And Deku, well, Bakugo was pretty much flying with All Might. She's like, what are we doing? He's like, that one, All For One. Don't know if Deku could hold out for long. Like, I know you two are crazy strong, but All For One is something else. As when they get over there, finally, it's been a little bit, as Deku has pretty much bashed away, like, the entire League of Villains. As Deku doesn't know if what happens if All For One grabs him. That could he lose his quirk if he just merely touches the man. So he's staying out of way, as he's using his fingers to, like, shoot out those, like, little, the blast of air, like, air cannons, basically. He's just like, pew, pew, setting them off. With Shigaraki's like, Magna, like, he's shouting at everyone to help his master, as, not Cementos, sorry, but, Magician, I forget the guy's, shit, I forget the magician's name. Oh, God, I typically have it. Now it's just slipped from my mind. Why? This sucks. But, what happens is that All Might and Bakugo are still on their way, but he's now under attack by the League of Villains. There's Muscular, like, come, show me your blood, as Deku just punches him out of, just like, sort of, we're blasting off again. Not really, though. He just smashes him so hard he's sent several feet into the ground. As Deku then moves forward, as he pretty much goes to attack Shigaraki, but then Kurogiri's like, Master. As the portal opens, as All For One tries to touch Deku, as Deku's like, oh, and moves backwards, trying to avoid, like, you know, touchy. As he then grabs All For One's wrist and breaks it to the best of his ability, as he's like, Master! As Kurogiri opens a portal right, like, where Deku's face would be. As Shigaraki goes to grab it, Deku turns his face and bites Shigaraki on the wrist. As he's like, shit, Kurogiri! As he's like, sorry, Master Shigaraki. As All For One's like, enough! As he pretty much shoots a very powerful air cannon at him. Deku's like, damn it. It's like, oh, you taste terrible. Oh, jeez. You're so dry. Man, I'm gonna have to eat like 1,000 steaks to get this out of my mouth. Ugh. As Shigaraki's like, I'm gonna kill you now. As he goes to rush forward, he's like, no, Tomura. Kurogiri, get everyone out of here. As then All Might and Bakugo show up, to see my time is over. As he forces Kurogiri, saying that, I am your master, Kurogiri. Now get Shigaraki out of here. As he takes a stance, as he charges his All Might killing weapon. As Deku is like, why haven't you gotten closer, Midoriya, by now? He's like, he can steal quirks, remember? Aside from One For All. Remember, I'm not One For All. Oh shit, I forgot about that. As then eventually they start battling again. But All For One turns up all his quirks, like, as high as they can go, until eventually Deku makes a slip as he sort of stumbles after a pillar, like a rock thing was tossed under him. As he was trying to recover, he feels stabbing pains into his back. He's like, "Ugh!" As all for one's like, I'll be taking that, thank you. Sort of trying to suck up like Deku. As Deku feels it, he's like, oh shit. As he's sort of trying to, in a way, trying to exert himself. Is like, Midoriya, as they're about to go do something, but he starts shooting air cannons at civilians in the back. He's like, your quirk will most definitely be of use, young Midoriya. As Deku feels that as the quirk's trying to leave him, well, not trying to, but what happens is that as All For One's trying to rip the quirk out of Deku, he feels a resistance unlike any other quirk he has ever felt. As, since the quirk is pretty much, the Hanma quirk, I'm saying has a unique factor to it, like like One For All, is that it typically is only been with the Hanma family. And to even have a chance of using it, you must be like a child of a Hanma. As it's trying to be, as it's pretty much anchoring itself, as Deku starts sort of, as it forcefully activates at its fullest potential, as it's fighting off All For One's quirk. As All For One's like, this is incredible. Never before has a quirk except for One For All has fought off me for so long. It will most truly be a good collection, as he's trying to rip it out, until eventually Bakugo and All Might, like, everyone else goes to save the civilians. All Might's like, enough, as he charges forward, smashing All For One in the face, breaking his gas mask. As he has to let go of the shards, Deku's like, as that like pierced into his skin. He's like, that fucking hurt. As he like stands up, I'm going to kill you, shouting that into the air. Deku looks back as he activates both quirks as they're to their fullest. He rushes forward past All Might as he's like, ugh. As he grabs All For One in the face, grabs his arm as well as he snaps it or breaks it similar to All For One. All Might did. As he's grabbing it, he's like, die to the Hanma! To a Hanma! As he smashes down, the tornado he creates is even greater than the United States of Smash. As that tornado's going, it literally seems like an actual tornado is about to start spin off and consume the city. As in Bakugo's like, no wait, as she blasts up to disrupt it. As with All One laying there, he is messed up beyond all recognition. As Deku like sort of lets out a battle cry, he's like, whoa! Sort of scream. As everyone's like, huh. As All Might doesn't have to use the last of his embers, so he just falls down. He's like, as everyone's like, it seems the UA students have done it. As All Might's just like, he's like, I'm out of steam, Bakugo. As it's like, look at All Might. As everyone still sees the whole thing with All Might. As All Might's like, you know what? I don't give a shit anymore. As he looks at Deku, seeing him roaring into the sky, he's like, as he also looks at Bakugo, you two will do just fine. As he just sort of lays down on his back, as that's where this will be ending off. Sorry. But anyways, I hope y'all guys have enjoyed this. Hope y'all guys continue to enjoy this. And I hope y'all have a nice day, nice night, nice life.